What's up everybody, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Shadow Luxray in the Open Ultra League. Now I did feature Shadow Luxray in the Open Great League yesterday, and if you thought it was good there, it's even better in the Ultra League because this thing is an absolute core breaker and can destroy a lot of team comps towards endgame when shields are down. And for this particular team, I'm going to be using Cresselia as the lead with Alolan and Muck as the safe swap to basically bait out the ground types, especially Swampert, so that Luxray has a pretty clear path to sweep towards endgame. And then again, there was some really insane and fun battles in here, and let's get straight into it. So moving on to the first battle here, we have Cresselia into a mirror. So honestly, we have two better responses to Cresselia, so immediately going to safe switch into my Alolan Muck here, and we're met with the Swampert. This is exactly how this team is supposed to work, right? We're switching into Alolan Muck to bait out the Swampert here because Luxray definitely does not want to go up against a Swampert. And at this point, we're not going to get to this Dark Pulse because they can get to two Hydro Cannons before we can get to it. I'm not going to shield it just, they could probably just go straight Earthquake as well, but most Swamperts tend to go Hydro Cannon, which is okay. They go for the second one here, which is fine. Because I can just come back with my Cresselia, and I'm not going to throw the Grass Knot right away because we lose CMP against Swampert, so might as well just overfarm by a couple of extra Psycho Cuts and then throw here. So I'm just going to do a couple extra Psycho Cuts and just throw just before they can get to another Hydro Cannon. And Grass Knot will obviously easily knock out the Swampert from this range, as it does there. And they have a Registeel in the back, so this is where it gets really tricky. But then again, it's all up to Luxray now to basically get rid of both Cresselia and Registeel, which is a tall order, right? Even though Luxray is glassy, we can tank a Grass Knot. And the good thing about Registeel and Cresselia, or going up against Registeel and Cresselia, is that both of them don't apply enough fast move pressure, right? So both Psycho Cut and Lock On are not doing enough damage, so I can let the first Grass Knot go through. The first Crunch gets the shield, we get the defense drop. The second Crunch does massive super effective damage, and also we get the second defense drop, which is huge. And now I'm going to start shielding because I need to preserve my Luxray to be able to take out the Registeel, because Cresselia has no play against Registeel, right? Again, I'm going to double shield here, and I'm going to look to farm down with Snarl. Again, Snarl doing super effective damage, and also on top of the fact that Cresselia has been double debuffed in terms of defense. We have two wild charges right now. I'm going to go for the first one here. This is probably going to get the shield from Registeel, as it does that, and I'm going to bank the wild charge and immediately switch into my Cresselia. Now my goal is to do as much resisted damage as possible with Moonblasts, so that I can get it into wild charge range, right? Because obviously, even if they come out of this matchup with energy, Luxray wins CMP against Registeel. They go for Zap Cannon. Now it's going to be hard for Cresselia to output any sort of damage against Registeel because of the debuffed Zap Cannon. Also, Registeel is an absolute tank, even more so in the Ultra League, right? And obviously, all these resisted moves from Cresselia are hardly doing anything. They go for the second Zap Cannon. They try to undercharge it, but they probably undercharged a little too much there. I'm going to try and just stay in and get as many Moonblasts off as possible. As you can see, we did get the attack drop in one of the Moonblasts, and we got the second attack drop as well, which is really nice. And I'm able to get to another Moonblast as well. And at this point, as soon as I get this Moonblast off, I'm immediately going to switch into my Luxray and go for the Wild Charge here. And this should just about be in Wild Charge range right now. So Wild Charge will be taking out the Registeel, and that's going to win the game for us there. So again, Luxray putting in massive work against Cresselia and Registeel on the back line. And as you can see, it is such an incredible closer. In this case, even when shields weren't down there. So moving on to the next one here, we have a Swampert on the lead. Beautiful. This is exactly where you want to see Swampert. They make a switch into their Typhlosion, and I don't really have a solid response to a fire type. So I'm going to stay in and just basically tank a Blast Burn and then switch into my Luxray here. And I'm just going to overfarm as much as I can, making sure I throw on correct timing. I'm definitely going to shield this because, again, Luxray is just so glassy that, there's no way we can tank a Blast Burn. So we throw the Crunch in the middle of the Incinerate animation there. So going for the Crunch does massive damage against Typhlosion. They probably thought it was a Psychic Fangs or something, and we're able to snarl down. Back in comes Swampert, and this is where, again, Luxray can be so devastating, right, with energy advantage. I go for the first Crunch here. It connects and gets the defense drop. I'm able to get to the second Crunch. Now this should force the shield from Swampert, otherwise it would take it out. And then again, Luxray putting in so much work, able to also win switch advantage and also get a shield from Swampert, which is the best case scenario here. So again, coming in with my Cresselia, they go for the Earthquake. That's fine. They make a switch to their Giratina. I immediately go into my Alolan Muck, and at this point, again, this game should be pretty much over because we have a lot of loaded energy on Cresselia. But it can be still tricky because this is a Dragon Breath Giratina, and obviously we're taking quite a bit of damage from Dragon Breaths. And they are going to be able to get to the second Dragon Claw before I can get to a Dark Pulse here, as they do there. And now I'm not going to shield this because, again, I need to preserve the shield for a potential Hydro Cannon coming from Swampert. So I go for the Dark Pulse here. I'm hoping they let this go through. And if they let it go through, we're almost for sure going to win this game, right? Unfortunately, Swampert is able to farm down, but I don't think they're at the back-to-back Hydro Cannons yet, but we are at almost 2 back-to-back Grass Knots. So I'm just going to throw the first Grass Knot here. Gets the shield from Swampert, able to get to the second Grass Knot on the CMP tie. It's okay, we still have a shield left, and I can safely shield this up and go for the Grass Knot, and this is going to do, obviously, more than enough damage to take out the Swampert from this range there. So, obviously, winning that mid-game was crucial because, again, switch advantage was everything. I couldn't have had my Alolan Mug going up against the Swampert there. Moving on to the next one here, we have Cresselia into a Swampert again. So, absolutely beautiful. If you want to see Swamperts against this team, you definitely want to catch it on the lead. They make a switch to that Registeel, and this is again where we already saw what Luxray can do against Registeel, right? And the good thing about this matchup is that you can go straight Wild Charge without even overfarming, because again, even though the defense has been dropped, I don't really have to worry about the lock-on damage, right? Lock-on is hardly doing anything. The reason why I choose to throw the Wild Charge right away is that if they go for the Zap Cannon bait, as they did there, I just want to get that damage off early. And I get the second Zap Wild Charge off. Doesn't do as much amount of damage because of the Zap Cannon debuff. And unfortunately, they get to another move. I'm forced to double shield here. This is not ideal because we are down 2 shields, but we have switch advantage, which is crucial. Swampert comes back and throws right away, knowing that we were very close to a move. That's okay. I come in with my Cresselia, immediately go for the Grass Knot because I need to at least get 1 shield out of them, right? I can't probably win this matchup with a 2 shield deficit. At this point, we're like 1 shield down, that's okay. And they make a switch into their Talonflame. I go into my Alolan Mug. This is kind of tricky because Talonflame has the potential to sweep with a shield advantage. So I go for the Dark Pulse here. Dark Pulse gets the shield. I mean, I built up to the Sludge Wave, so they probably thought it was Sludge Wave or something. And now they're going to go for a Brave Bird here. But Brave Bird doesn't KO. We survive with like literally 1 HP and we're able to get to a Dark Pulse. This is huge because this Dark Pulse, because of the lower defense on Talonflame, near one-shots it. And now we have a full health Cresselia against a full health Swampert with no shields, and they decide to concede the match there. So honestly, landing that Dark Pulse was everything, because if we hadn't done that, Cresselia wouldn't have been able to output enough damage to take out the Talonflame there. Moving on to the next one here, we have a Cresselia into a Regirock. I think it's a shiny Regirock, which is really cool. And they go for Zap Cannon, which is a legacy move. So it's a shiny legacy Regirock, which is even better. But obviously not great because these Grass Knots are debuffed and it's not going to do too much damage. And also Regirock is quite tanky as well. Probably not as tanky as Registeel, but almost just about as tanky. But anyways, I go for the second Grass Knot, which gets the shield, which is really nice. Again, with this team comp, you definitely want to get shield advantage early. Because again, that's definitely what Luxray... I mean, you definitely need shield advantage for Luxray to sweep towards endgame there. I come in with my Alolan Mug right now, going for the Dark Pulse right away here. And Dark Pulse, they do let that go through because they can comfortably tank that. And I'm not going to shield this. We can tank any one move from a Regirock. Stone Age doesn't even do about 50%. And now they make a switch into their Swampert. I try to go for the Dark Pulse. Unfortunately, I don't get it. They get to a Hydro Cannon here. That's okay. I'm going to let this go through. And we survive with like 1 HP once again. Alolan Mug coming in clutch. Going for the Dark Pulse here. Again, this Dark Pulse is not too useful. I mean, it's just almost going to guarantee that it's going to put this Swampert into Grass Knot range. So I come back with my Cresselia, do one extra Psycho Cut, and then go for the Grass Knot right away here. And Grass Knot does take out the Swampert, and I'm immediately going to switch in my Luxray against that Umbreon. Now, this is kind of tricky again, but it's okay. It's not the worst thing because Umbreon, again, is another Pokemon that doesn't apply as much pressure with its fast moves. So I'm going to overfarm as much as I can and going for the Wild Charge here. I probably should have let the first Foul Play go through, to be honest, because we can tank one of those. But anyways, I go for the Wild Charge right now. I'm going to shield the second Foul Play here. And at this point, my only win con is if they try to sack their Regirock, which they do. This is perfect for me because I'm able to farm the Regirock all the way down and come out of this matchup with a bunch of energy. I have 2 Wild Charges right now. I go for the first Wild Charge here. And at this point, I think they decided to concede them. I mean, they let that go through knowing that obviously Luxray wins CMP against Umbreon. So they just let the second Wild Charge go through. And also we had a little bit of Cresselia in the back. So honestly, if they hadn't switched out into their Regirock, they probably could have won that game. Umbreon would have outpaced. So I'm not sure why they switched out, but it works out anyways. Moving on to the next one, we have a Scrafty on the lead. This is actually a pretty solid matchup for Cresselia. I go for the Moonblast, but luckily we get the refund as they switch into their Registeel, and we've seen how this matchup plays out, right? I switched into my Luxray here. We're definitely shielding the Focus Blast, so luckily they didn't go for the Zap Cannon bait. I'm going for the Wild Charge here. Obviously, it's going to do 50% of Registeel's health, which is pretty significant in the Ultra League, right, for a neutral move. So I'm going for the second Wild Charge here. And this probably is almost for sure going to get the shield from Registeel as it does there. And we get the extra Snarl through as we should. And I'm going to definitely shield the Focus Blast here. And I need to win switch advantage, right? I'd rather have my Cresselia going up against their Scrafty, but then they aggressively switch into their Trevenant, and they were trying to go for, catch a wild charge, but we go for the crunch, doing massive super effective damage, and I switch in my Alolan Muck. Now Alolan Muck is one of the hardest walls to Trevenant in the game because everything here is resisted, and I can fully farm down and come out of this matchup with a lot of loaded energy. Now we have energy on Cresselia, we have energy on Luxray, and now we have a lot of loaded energy on Muck as well. I go for the Sludge Wave here, does massive damage against the Scrafty, and they decide to concede the match there. Again, probably I mean, we had that game for the most part. Like I said, we had energy on all three of our Pokemon, and I mean, I don't think there was any way they were able to come back from that. Moving on to the next one here, we have a Cresselia into a Talonflame right now. Again, this is a kind of tricky situation because Talonflame on the lead can definitely be a little challenging. I don't have a hard counter to a Talonflame. Yes, Luxray obviously is a pretty solid response, but obviously we're going to take so much damage from Incinerate, right? So I don't feel comfortable switching into my Luxray against Talonflame. I switch into my Alolan Muck instead. And unfortunately, I throw on bad timing there, allowing them like a free turn of energy. But anyways, I go for the second Dark Pulse right now. Like, as you can see, I mean, if I timed the move better, I probably could have gotten off the second Dark Pulse there, but that's okay. I'm just going to come with my Cresselia and go for the Moonblast because I think this Talonflame is just about in Moonblast range. So yeah, probably want to force the shield. We do get a shield, which is fantastic. This is exactly what we want, is shield advantage. And hopefully Luxray, whatever they have in the back is extremely weak to Luxray. We tank the Flame Charge once again, just going for the Moonblast as soon as I can, just to get rid of this Talonflame here because I don't want to take any Incinerate damage on the Luxray. And immediately going to switch to my Luxray. They have a Giratina. This can be tricky because Giratina, again, is an absolute tank and we're taking quite a bit of damage from Shadow Claw. So we're definitely going to shield this up, and then... But unfortunately, they have a Sylveon in the back. So this is something that you definitely don't want to see because, again, Charmers in the back can be really bad because we are taking so much damage from Charm, right? I just decided to go for the back-to-back Wild Charge just in case they don't shield both of them. But obviously, they're absolutely going to shield that. But still, that does about 70% of Sylveon's health. But yeah, I mean, Charmers in the back can always be a little bit difficult with this team. So I guess moving on to the final battle of the video, we have Cresselia into a Gengar. Not the best matchup. We have two better responses to Gengar. Immediately switching to my Alolan Muck. They bank a bunch of energy before switching into their Obstacle. They were trying to catch a Dark Pulse, but luckily we saw the swap. And I'm going to go for the Sludge Wave here, doing massive neutral damage against Obstacle. And this is just going to be, at best, it's going to be a Cross Chop, probably just a Night Slash, which is resisted. And I probably could have done one extra Snarl there, but I just want to go for the Sludge Wave as soon as I can. And they let that go through, and it does take out the Obstagoon. And let's see what they come in with. They actually come back with their Gengar. This tells me that whatever they have in the back could also be incredibly weak to Dark. We let the Shadow Ball go through. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get to a move. But that's okay. I can come in with my Luxray right now. And they make a switch into their Scrafty. I go for the Wild Charge, right? This is where I make a bit of a mistake. I shouldn't have gone for the Wild Charge. I should have basically banked all that energy and immediately swapped into my Cresselia because Moonblast would pretty much almost one-shot anyways, right? So there's no point getting off the Wild Charge damage. I think that energy would be more useful to throw against Gengar later. But anyways, I'm going to bait the Grass now. This is almost for sure going to get the shield from Scrafty. It is a little bit of a risky bait, but I decided to take that chance anyways. And we can just let these foul plays go through, even though it's super effective. It's just... Again, Cresselia is such a tank, right? We can easily tank two of those. And now I go for the Moonblast because I know I can only get to one of these before they can get to another move. So I go for the Moonblast. It does take out the Scrafty, and back in comes Gengar, and I'm able to get to a Grass now. Now this puts them in a really tricky spot because they're forced to give up their final shield. And if they do, we have a 2 shield advantage with Luxray, and this game is pretty much over. There's no way they're getting to 3 Shadow Punches before I can get to a Crunch here. I'm definitely going to shield this. And at this point, I should be able to get to a Crunch, and they realize that. And they decide to concede the match there. So overall, again, as you can see, this team is pretty solid. Luxray as a closer in Ultra League is probably even better than it is in Great League. In Great League, I feel like it's very frail. And also we get a Shadow Zapdos to close it out. So that's probably even better there. But anyways, beg your pardon, Shiny Zapdos, I should say. But yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, I think as far as Ultra League is concerned, especially against Giratina, Cresselia cores, against certain other ghost types, and probably some flyers, Pokemon like Walrein, and even Trevenant actually. Luxray has so much play against a lot of Ultra League Pokemon in the meta. So yeah, I mean, again, a lot of fun. Probably you can try out different team comps. I'm looking forward to trying out Luxray in multiple various different teams as far as Ultra League is concerned. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.